I believe that the Vox Victor is the best car in its size and price class anywhere in the world.
Welcome to WatchMojoUK, and today we'll be counting down our picks for the most disappointing or disastrous vehicles of British origin. We'll be omitting the DeLorean DMC-12, however, since that company was based out of the United States, despite the cars being manufactured in Northern Ireland.
Before we begin, we publish new content every day, so be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos.
Number 10. Rover CityRover. This mini-car from Britain's MG Rover company was essentially a Tata Indica in disguise, and its reputation endures today as one of the company's worst offerings. Rover seemed to know this too, since it somewhat infamously refused to allow TV's Top Gear to test drive one for a review.
This does feel like a car from the early 80s.
As a result, Top Gear co-host James May was forced to covertly sneak into a dealership undercover in order to gain access for the show. The results were not good, with the CityRover earning poor marks not only for its price, but for performance and safety as well. May went on to label it as the worst car I have ever driven on this programme. Ouch.
So, to sum up, the interior is low rent, the ride is poor, and you don't get a lot for your money.
Number 9. Triumph TR7. The Triumph TR7 sports car not only managed to stink up British roads, but it was also exported to the United States.
Triumph TR7.
Because why shouldn't everyone suffer the slings and arrows of this underpowered, underwhelming vehicle? The TR7 certainly looked nice off the assembly line, and they initially sold in decent enough numbers as well.
While equally fashionable is the reduction in the litres from 2.5 to 2 litres.
However, the sports car's reputation for sluggish pickup and engine overheating soon overcame any goodwill the Triumph TR7 may have initially received off the jump. The 2.0-litre four-cylinder engine just couldn't deliver on anything promised by manufacturer British Leyland, and the TR7 was phased out by the end of 1981.
But the crash-proof rear pillar here tends to be very, very thick indeed, and so your rear three-quarter visibility suffers.
Number 8. Morris Marina. The British Leyland Motor Company employed a number of subdivisions within their array of cars, including the Austin Morris brands. The Morris Marina does have its defenders, and sold briskly during its 9-year production run. However, hindsight presents the Marina as a car that just wasn't built to last, with a 2006 survey from Auto Express magazine highlighting how fewer than 1,000 of the over 800,000 Marinas sold in Britain were still on the road.
The miracle is not that the Marina won that, it's that it was built in the first place.
There's just no nice way to say this. The Morris Marina was a rust bucket. Although certain parts of the car could be donated to other cars in order to extend their lives, the Marina is probably better left in a vehicular graveyard. Number 7. Austin Allegro.
This time, it's the Austin Allegro.
The Austin Allegro was just yet another one of the Austin Morris division of cars to be considered a clunker, a small family vehicle that enjoys a particularly poor reputation today. This is thanks largely to a number of factors, from the cosmetic, a rectangular steering wheel, to the intrinsic, such as the Allegro's penchant for breakdowns and poor manufacturing. It should be said that subsequent editions of the Allegro did work at fixing some of these problems, but in the eyes of the British car-buying public at least, it was too little, too late.
It is in the inside that you really notice the difference.
Number 6. Jaguar 3.4-litre Mark I. The term worst can mean a lot of things, but with the Jaguar 3.4-litre Mark I, the word underlines safety. The Jaguar Motor Company has weathered the storms of a number of controversial models over the years, from the Jaguar XJS to the Jaguar XJC, but it was the introduction of a 3.4-litre engine into the original Mark I that turned out to be a deadly idea. The original Mark I came with a 2.4-litre engine, but Jaguar upgraded in response to pressure from dealers in the United States. The resulting change meant that the Mark I's brakes and suspension just couldn't keep up, making this Jaguar unsafe at any speed. Number 5. Jensen Healey.
This is the safest thing anyone has ever done.
The Jensen Healey is actually quite collectible today, thanks in part to the Jensen Motor Company essentially folding with this car's demise back in 1976. This changes little about their unreliability, however, which all comes down to the Lotus engine under the bonnet. This was the first time a dual overhead cam 4 valve per cylinder engine was mass produced for a car such as the Healey, and the results were chaotic, to say the least. Healeys often wouldn't start, would leak oil, or just plain old rust, and it would only be 4 years before the brand would be put out to pasture. Number 4. MGC 67. The British Motor Company's MGB sports car was a huge hit, a nimble roadster that could easily take corners with excellent handling. Those cars were manufactured from 1962 to 1980, while the MGC from 1967 limped along for 2 years before being confined to the history books. This was due largely in part to the heavy-engined BMC slid under the bonnet, a 2.9-litre straight 6 that was constructed of cast iron. This increased the weight of the MGC exponentially, hamstringing it from competing with other cars in its class with regards to steering and control. Chalk this one up to what could have been. Number 3. Vauxhall Victor F Type.
Salute the Victor, Vauxhall's latest, greatest car.
We have to admit that, on the surface at least, the Vauxhall Victor F Type seems like a pretty sweet deal. They looked sleek, employed a 1.5-litre 4-cylinder engine without any trouble, and were exported to the United States in massive numbers.
Even on a wavy road, there's hardly a ripple in it.
Then the demand started to slow down, and then completely stop, cold. The writing on the wall was soon apparent. The Vauxhall Victor F Type was completely helpless against rust. Was it this increased demand that resulted in assembly line workers cutting corners? Or was the Vauxhall Victor F Type doomed right from production?
This is how we know. By testing. Constant, unremitting testing.
Number 2. Reliant Scimitar GTE. It should be said that the Scimitar brand from Reliant Motors were largely dependable and well-handling cars that sold well and found a loyal audience. However, both the SE6 GTE as well as the SE8 models from the 1970s and 80s possessed a potentially fatal design flaw with regards to its fuel line and carburetor system.
It wasn't uncommon for a Scimitar to have ended life in a spectacular blaze.
Specifically, petrol could leak from this system into the exhaust manifold, potentially igniting a deadly fire within the engine bay. Granted, this hypothetical situation wasn't a foregone conclusion, but let's be honest, would you be willing to take the chance?
It's just madness. The car should never have gone into production.
Number 1. Reliant Robin. Here's a fact, the Reliant Robin was popular. Here's another fact, the Reliant Robin is also quite dangerous. And why wouldn't it be? The car only possesses 3 wheels, it's a front-wheel drive car, mind, is made of plastic and can be tipped over with ease over a puddle or a stiff breeze. On one hand, the Reliant Robin could be operated with a motorbike license, which underlines their popularity. Additionally, the infamous episode of Top Gear, featuring a weebling and wobbling Robin, utilised a custom version designed for the segment.
Oh, God!
Oh dear. However, this 3-wheeled menace still exists today as one of the most head-scratching moments in British car manufacturing history. Feel like defending any of these lemons? Let us know in the comments.
No, not again!
Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from WatchMojoUK and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.